Welcome back, guys, to another episode. I got done with mining, got 32 diamonds, and today I'm going to be talking about complacency, my experience with complacency, what I'm doing now to overcome it, why it's scary, a solution, and yeah, what's the worst that can happen. So what is complacency? According to, I think, Merriam-Webster, complacency is marked by satisfaction with the status quo. Basically, you're fine with the average. Now, my experience with complacency is that I used to work at Chick-fil-A. Now, I quit my job because I realized that most of the people there did not like being there and only were just there for the money. I remember my boss, he absolutely hated it. He hated being at Chick-fil-A, and you could see it in his eyes. He was just miserable there. And he was only a few years older than me, so he's 21-ish now. And it's just why would you stay there at freaking Chick-fil-A? There's no reason to stay at Chick-fil-A. You're getting paid, $13 an hour-ish, and it's just, he was miserable. He said he would dread every time he would come to work, and that he would cry on his way home sometimes. That did not seem like a good environment for me to stay in. Not it wasn't bad, but it's bad over 5 years. You know what I mean? Day one is not bad. Day two is not bad. Every single day wasn't bad. It's just a grind over a long period of time. There's this BoJack Horseman quote that I think explains it decently, and it says, every day it gets a little easier, but it's every day. So that's the problem. Chick-fil-A, every day I went in, it's not bad, but it's just I felt drained. I felt like I wasn't really going anywhere in life, and I'd look at some of the dudes who were 25 or 30, some of the adults there, and I'd just be kind of sad for them. Obviously, it's an honest job, it's honest work, so props to them for working instead of just relying on benefits and stuff like that. But it's just, if I was working at 30 at Chick-fil-A, I feel like I would just be so defeated in life. It's just what has my life kind of come to. So that's my experience with complacency. Is Chick-fil-A a minimum wage job where my boss absolutely hated it? Every day wasn't bad. It's just it was every day. And I'd see 30-year-olds working there, and I would just be kind of sad because I don't want to end up like them, so I have to get out of there as quick as possible. Now, what I'm doing to overcome complacency is, surprisingly enough, YouTube videos. So I'm just trying to see how this works out. This is my plan A. I'm gonna try and just try something out. You know what I mean? Just create something in the world. Because if this doesn't really work out, which I'm not really expecting this to work out. I do this because I want to document my thoughts and everything. But if this doesn't work out, plan B is just a normal office job, everyday life where I'm decently satisfied because I have good relationships with people I love. So the worst that can happen for me is just an office job. You know what I mean? If this fails, it's an office job, which I was kind of expecting that before this, but it's whatever. I think it's very easy to fall under complacency, and at least in America right now, from an evolutionary perspective, humans have always been in a situation of danger, and if you're not in danger, you're doing something right. So if you were a caveman hunting and you were hungry, you have to get food. You just have to survive, right? But now in a modern time where I live in a white suburb, it's everything fits my biological needs. So from an evolutionary standpoint, in today's modern world, it's very, very easy to become complacent with someone's life because their biological needs are going to be met. You're gonna have food, you're gonna have water, you're gonna have shelter, you're gonna have AC. You're not gonna be that uncomfortable. So it's very easy to become complacent, and I think the solution to complacency is, one, you have to look at yourself 20 years from now and see where you kind of want to end up. If you have a minimum wage job, look at people who have a minimum wage job. They're good people, but I feel if they could do more, if they wanted to do more, they would do more. I have a friend whose uncle is a trucker, but all he talks about is surfing, and I just feel bad for that dude. Because it's he's kind of missing out on life, and he's a trucker, but he has to support his family. So I think it's what he has to do, which is support his family, but at the same time, I do feel a little sad for him. I think if he were to relive some of the key moments in his life, he would choose a very, very different path of doing what he loves. So yeah, solution to complacency, I'd say, is one, think about yourself, 20 years from now, would you be happy doing what you're doing? If not, you probably should get out of the situation that you're in. And then two is to just create something. I'm creating YouTube videos. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I become not complacent, but we'll see. Because the thing about creating something is you can always kind of improve. And if you can always improve, then you're not necessarily complacent. A lot of complacency is you can't improve. Like, you can only get so good at a minimum wage job. You know what I mean? So that's why it's like a complacent thing. You can only get so good at Chick-fil-A. So yeah, that's gonna be my yap session. I'm trying to find a village to establish a home and villager breeding grounds, but I don't know if that's happening. I think most of you guys are probably here for my yaps instead of, my Minecraft world, because it's kind of structured for my yaps, but we'll see how this video does. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for popping in. I'm trying to upload daily because I don't want to be
Yeah, I went 7 days without uploading. That's my bad, guys. That's my bad, guys. I graduated though, and I cleaned my room. My room was a mess, but it's clean now. So, hopefully now that the summer has actually set in, I can actually start uploading and focusing a little bit on YouTube. You know what I mean? Just for the love of the game. All right. Yeah, that's post edit. You jingle it in.
become complacent. I want to see if this YouTube thing has a possibility of working out. I want to see in college if I don't have to work and I could just make some YouTube videos to at least subsidize for a minimum wage job. You know what I mean? We'll see how it goes. And it's also creating things, putting my mark in history, just a tiny bit. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.